I mean, I admit I was a bit compassionate, but it's one thing to throw a grenade or to shoot someone in the head or to shoot a shell. Like most of my shells were made that they would cause instant death. Um, like I said, I do not like having to have to kill someone, or I do not like being a purveyor of war. But I would not produce things that caused prolonged suffering. It was not who I was. It's not what I was, and I didn't really even like to do weapons. I use my battleships to break up rocks, great big huge granite rocks, and to break sides of hills off, or to build roads. That's what I use the cannons for. They would, every morning they would know where the work site was. They would move the cannons around, elevate, and fire, and fire. And the shells would hit and break the rocks up. They were rock breakers. That's what I use my cannons for. I was a pacifist. I did not like killing people. I admit a race war did get started, and, like I say, Mr. Brown considered me his enemy. He was black, I was white. Of course, he thought I was white, but I mean, my name's white. I made white paint. I paid for white paint, so that's why he didn't even know what I looked like. He just knew I was Lucifer White Star. So he assumed I was a white person. And it's like, well, I am, but um, you know, that's not why my name is White. Um, and besides, I had white stars on all my equipment. So anyway, like I say, I admit I got kind of caught up in flamethrowers because like I had paid for the research because I figured if I mean, I just do general research, and it's like, well, and like I say, they researched and basically invented the gel fuel. That was me, and it was actually for aircraft or something like that, and or something. I wanted to do something with gel fuel or something like that, or maybe I wondered if fuel could be made into a gel. There was some reason why I wanted to have gel fuel, or gelatin fuel, and so I ended up making it. I mean, they researched it and they messed around, and it was actually, I believe, for controlled forest. There were forest fires. Like ever since like the beginning of time, there's always been forest fires, and also like there's just dry grass, and also part of the fertilizing process is to burn the grass off and then whatever. So I researched flamethrowers and I researched incendiary bombs. So you just go boom and then you have a controlled burn, you know, and stuff like that. So that's what I had. All the stuff I did was just for, stuff like, like normal stuff. And like I say, stuff like the flame tank and stuff like that. I I I did it, and like I say, I wouldn't produce it like that. I didn't produce it like that. Like I built a couple test models, yes, and some of my test models were stolen at some point in time, and other people decided to start using them. They were for like burning old buildings or burning down trees or something like that. It wasn't for people. Like I say, and there are some people that were actually going to put some on some tanks. Like I said, that's why they say they converted them over. It's like they took old tanks, they refurbished them, and then they put the flamethrowers on them. And then I found out they had burned 3,000 to 5,000 or 50,000 people with them. Like I say, I mean, I understand if 50,000 people rush you and you got no choice but to use a flamethrower, then okay. But I mean, if they're rushing your tank, your position, and you're just like laying down, suppressing flamethrower power, it's like they're running into your flamethrower. And that's different. There's a difference there because they should stop and turn around and not be running toward you. They should be running away from you. But if you're going up to their buildings and spraying fuel into their house, to cause damage instead of just sitting out there and being like, "Are you gonna come out now? Are you gonna come out now?" Like you're in a tank, they're in a house. I think you can wait. So I found out about them converting the tanks over, and I was like, If they burn one person. Anyway, so I ended up, like I said, I sent like a whole squadron of tanks after them and aircraft. Like, and we dropped leaflets. We dropped little pamphlets being like, "We are here to reclaim your tanks. Do not be in them tomorrow." And then the next day, and they actually moved to try and fight me. And it's like, good. Makes it more sporting that way. Anyway, my men, they're kind of like, well, maybe we shouldn't have warned them. It's like, well, they defended themselves. I don't want to sneak up on them or nothing. You know, I mean, it's like if I mean they were supposed to leave the tanks. The thing said, do not be in your tanks tomorrow. Anyway, they decided to try and keep their tanks. It's like big mistake. Anyway, I mean, you know, so like I said, I made money, and actually, if I remember, I was like refund them their money for the tanks. But sir, it's like refund them the money. I was like, I was like, I give them back the money and then destroy those tanks. Like I wanted to wash it clean. Like I had plenty of money. Money wasn't the problem. The problem was what they had done. Like it really upset me that they would even do that. Like I don't know. Maybe they had their reasons. Like I say, I saw the video too. There's film. Like I say, there's like 5,000 people or so. They would have them run, or they would spray the houses. Like there's this one where there's this group of people, and they use the flame tank on the people, children too, women and children. Anyway, it's 45 minutes long, and there are several of them. There's like 20 of them. They burned a lot of people with the flame tanks. Anyway, when I found out about it, you know, like I say, I felt this rage, anger, and scream inside of me, and like I didn't even want to be part of the human race anymore. Like I felt like just making sure that they were dead and then shooting myself in the head. Fuck it. No, I didn't want to be the person that made money off of those tanks. That's why they actually refunded the full price of the tanks. Even though they actually bought them used, so they refunded them the used price. Yeah, like I said, we had used them and then we had sold them and then they had converted them and then we actually refunded their money and then destroyed them. So it's kind of funny. It's like your money is inside your account and we are here to reclaim the tanks. They chose to put up a fight and they died. And there was more. There was quite a few of them that had been converted over. So anyway, yeah, well, you know, I mean, call me psychotic. I am. I was. Well, you know, I guess I earned my name Lucifer. And this is why, things like that. I mean, I was incredibly rich and people loved me because I was that person. I was the person that went after the people that would burn people. I was the person that would swoop down with supplies. I was the person that had no regard for money. You know, I had no borders. You know, there were times when there were other countries and people would be like, "But it's not our country." It's like, so cross the border. Anyway, I would invade countries if I sensed a problem from another country.